Hello, my name is Sarah Sloan, and you're listening to The Sarah Sloan Show. Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are doing okay. If you're not, don't tell me. Don't bring me down with that. I feel like I need a little bit of a pep. I don't know. What's the word? Positivity. Just came to me like that. Oh, man, good stuff happening out in the world. If I talk weather, you know I'm not doing well, but I can't help myself. It is beautiful outside. It's sunny. It's like 70 degrees, so it's nice and windy. It's like the perfect temperature. I used to be so much more the mentality of like, oh, I want it colder. I want to be frigid and miserable. Not anymore, baby. I like a little bit of heat. But of course, I don't want to be sweating out of my mind. But even if I am, I'll be okay. I'll live. I don't know about how you guys feel, if you're the same way or not. I have no idea. All right, let's get into the first story. This isn't even necessarily like a story, but I did want to talk about this just for a second. You may not live in Texas, but this is still interesting to note. The casino industry is really trying to get into Texas. This is happening in the legislature. If you see lobbyists, which are essentially people that are paid to go and kind of push their interests to the legislators to get them to vote the way they want, and they'll maybe take them out to dinner, they'll maybe give them some money, they will do whatever they need to do. They're usually sweet talkers. They know what they're doing. They're very charismatic and all that. But they are paid. They'll do whatever they have to do in order to get what they want. And if they don't get what they want, they're probably not an effective lobbyist. So a lot of times lobbyists can be former politicians. Something that's interesting to note, in my opinion at least. So they're really pushing casinos, wanting to get that in Texas. And because usually you think you have to go to Las Vegas, not LA, my gosh, Las Vegas, or you have to go to Oklahoma and gamble over there. Gambling, and I was trying to think, I was like, casinos, well, what's the big deal? One of the things they're saying is you can get a lot of tax money from that, and that could help fund the state. And I'm like, well, that's good, because yeah, I guess maybe we could use more money, whatever. And but I heard this amazing argument, and I think it really sums up why we shouldn't have gambling in casinos. Well, first of all, you see those places, it's these beautiful grand casinos, and people typically don't walk away with money. Typically. A lot of people that are like sensible about it tell me, hey, I just go in there with like $500 and I know I'm going to lose it all, but I just go in there and just have some fun. That's the sensible person. That's stupid. I'm just going to throw away $500 and just get rid of it. And that's okay. I'm just going to rip it up in shreds and just blow it out into the wind. It's silly to waste your money like that. It's not using your money well. You could say, well, a lot of people spend their money on stupid stuff. That's pretty stupid. Gambling is pretty stupid. But the argument that I heard, sorry, I'm getting on a tangent. The argument that I heard was, if you look at the people that go to casinos, it's typically not the extremely wealthy. It's like the middle class or the people that are kind of suffering economically. And then they're blowing all their money away. And then who has to help them? The government. The government has to save them, has to come in, welfare, or whatever else it may be. And they have to save them. And that's really, if it's a government, who funds the government? Us. So we end up having to pay for it anyway. Just so a person can have a little bit of fun. And it's just like, well, freedom. We need to have freedom. And so casinos should be free to be in Texas. Well, okay. But we can also have freedom to say no, and freedom to decide we don't want that business around in our state. If you want to go and enjoy yourself, seriously, just go across the border, go into Oklahoma, WinStar. I've passed it so many times. It's a huge casino. It's always packed out. Go there if you really want to gamble. But no, not in Texas. So I'm hopeful that they're not gonna, get what they want. But yeah, it economically hurts people. It's an addiction. It's not a good thing to prop up. And so we should endorse good things. And we should not prop up bad things that could hurt people. Freedom, whatever. We could argue that all day, I guess. Okay, so there was a big story that happened, and it was after the Tennessee shooting, and I talked about that in the last episode, where this girl, she shot up this private Christian school, and a lot of people died. Still keep those people in your prayers if you can. The families involved and everything else. The president didn't go to visit, and the vice president didn't go to visit. And typically this is done with shootings. You'll see people come and visit. Politicians come and visit, and they didn't. So it's really interesting. Now, in the legislature in Tennessee, they were debating different measures to prevent these attacks from going through. They had one bill, and it was actually going to, have some good changes, I think. 3 Democrats didn't like it. They banded together. It was 2 black males and 1 white female. Normally, what's the color of their skin matter? I don't think it should matter, but it does for this story, just because race is brought into every story now. But they are, they have bullhorns. They're disrupting the legislative session. They're stopping people from being able to debate and everything else. And they get in trouble, is really what happens. They get in trouble, and they are expelled from being legislators. Now, they didn't go as far in their punishment of the white lady, but she didn't have the bullhorn and things like that. Now, she basically argues that to the legislators that are debating whether or not to expel them. She says, hey, well, I didn't go this far as my other 2 colleagues did. And so then they were like, oh, okay, yeah, she's got a point. Okay, we won't expel her. But the other 2, they were expelled. 2 younger guys. And so this becomes a big thing, and everyone's trying to say, wow, this is so racist. This is so racist. And so Kamala Harris comes, and she speaks to the legislators and speaks well of them. She doesn't go to visit the school. And then she says, well, if the families of the people that were shot, the victims, want to come, they can come and visit me. That's usually not done. This is like totally out of order. It's really, really messed up. I'm going to play a report on it from CBS that kind of sums up what happened. I don't agree with 100% of the way that they lay it out, but yeah. Basically, Kamala Harris knew what she was doing, and she really wanted to do the race thing.
And they understood the importance, these 3, of standing to say that people will not be silenced, who say the children should be able to live and be safe and go to school and not be in fear.
The Republican-controlled House voted Thursday to expel Justin Jones and Justin Pearson. Only one of the so-called Tennessee 3, Gloria Johnson, survived the expulsion measure. Mark Strassman has more from outside the state capitol.
We will never quit. We will never quit.
Nashville still a seething city today, reeling over Republican retribution for a Democratic breach of protocol. Unseated, not 1 state lawmaker, but 2.
The racism that's within this institution is part of the reason that it is crumbling.
A national firestorm sparked by this moment last week.
No action! No need! No action! No need!
3 disruptive Democratic lawmakers and 1 bullhorn. A legislative session gone off the rails. Their issue, stricter gun laws, after a school shooting killed 6 people, including 3 children. House Republicans pitched a fit, what they called disorder and dishonor.
How can you bring dishonor to an already dishonorable House?
Became drama, discord, and defiance. Republican Gina Balso confronted Democrat Justin Jones.
Look at the disrespect with which he has conducted himself today. He called our speaker a liar. He pointed derisively at our speaker.
What Jones heard?
What he was essentially saying was that Justin is an uppity Negro.
Racial overtones rambled throughout. The optics were awful. Mostly white men targeting 2 young black lawmakers and a woman. There was an exception for the Republican supermajority. They let Democrat Gloria Johnson of Knoxville keep her seat by 1 vote. Why her, not Jones and Pearson?
I will answer your question. It might have to do with the color of our skin.
Republican.
Oh, it's so gross. Yeah. So it was funny. I saw reports of one of the black men, and Malcolm X, he's trying to look like Malcolm X, big fro, glasses and everything else. And he screams when he talks, and he's very just expressive and loud. And then it shows whenever he was running for like class president or something like that in college. And there's like a promotional video that he did, I think like a campaign video. And he looks like, very clean, put together, like Obama kind of a voice. And just literally 6 years difference, what he becomes over time is really interesting. And it was Megyn Kelly's podcast that detailed all of this. So then what she did was she put a video of herself. She's like, I can understand you're going to have a couple changes in your life, from 6 years, but that much, she's like, this is performative. It's silly. So then she shows a video of herself from 6 years ago. And yeah, her voice was slightly different. She was just a little bit more but it was also the platform she was on. She wasn't on a podcast. She was on TV. So she's using a much more official voice and talking like this. But that's understandable. So yeah, it was very, very interesting. But yeah, this white lady that joined them is so frustrating. She begged the politicians to not expel her. She got away with it by 1 vote, and it's because she laid out a case and she begged for it. She got what she wanted, and now she's saying, it's race. Let me tell you that right now. It's race. It's like, what is your problem? It's not race. It's your behavior. And then you heard the other guy, the younger guy say, how can you bring dishonor to an already dishonorable institution or whatever? Okay, so what are we supposed to do then, if that's the case? The whole point of what we're doing, it's all a charade. Let's admit it, with politicians, and they're in their seats, they're at their desks, they vote, people vote for them. It's built this way. It's all a charade so that we can have laws and we follow those laws. So you want to just throw out the whole thing that you bought into, that you ran and campaigned to become a part of? Then don't run again if you don't believe in this dishonorable institution. But that's not going to happen. They're going to run again. They like the politics. They like all this, but then they're mad about it. You can't get it both ways. Now, whenever I was first told about what happened to these 3 Tennessee politicians, my dad was telling me about it, but he didn't know all the details himself. And so he was just like saying these Democrats were protesting and then they expelled them for protesting. And to me, I was like, okay, I don't like that. You can't protest? Like, you can't be against something? I didn't realize it was in the actual institution, in the actual Capitol. And then also, can we talk about January 6th, please? January 6th, people were protesting in the Capitol, and this was the worst thing that ever happened. The guy with the bullhorns that was protesting just got released from jail. This happened in January 6th, 2021. It's been over 2 years. He was in solitary confinement. They treated him terribly. There's still a lot of people that haven't been released from jail. And yet this is a good thing. It's pretty similar behavior. So why is one good and the other not? We need to have consistent standards. That would be very helpful. So there's a lot going on there. But Kamala Harris, I'm really glad she was able to go in there and give a voice, because we all really want to hear it. Okay, so this is just a little tidbit. This comedian, Andrew Schulz, he was on his podcast. So I'm sorry if he cusses, because you know how comedians can be. He's giving advice on how Trump can win. I don't know. Stuff has been happening to this guy, Andrew Schulz. I've been wondering because he was talking about how he cried at church. This guy never goes to church. How he likes Trump, but he's joking about it, but also like, why are you saying it so much? You know, maybe something's happening. I don't know. Okay, so let's listen to a little bit of what he has to say. Because even if you disagree with him, even if you don't like the way he speaks and stuff, there's a lot of people that do listen to him. This podcast has over 600,000 subscribers. They get millions upon millions of views. So people do listen to what he says, and they find him reasonable. So
the way that he wins guaranteed, I just don't know how he does it. But I have the way that
the winning
he can
strategy.
Win.
You feel you have it.
100%.
What is it?
He needs black women on his side. I don't know how he does it. I don't know what he can do to do it. But if he can get black women to be like, nah, we fuck with Trump.
A subsidized Beyonce tour?
It's like they don't even buy Beyonce's clothing anymore. Like, I think Beyonce might be over.
Relax, bro.
I hate to say it, but it's like
Relax.
Adidas let Beyonce take her clothing back. They were like, let's just go on a separate. They didn't even let Kanye do that. They're like, we still need to figure this out. But with Beyonce, they say, keep your shit.
Ice Spice running mate.
That would work?
No.
Nah.
No, we actually need to be serious about this.
Yeah, but
what can he do to win over black women?
Anybody running who has black women wins.
He didn't have black women the first time, my G.
2016?
No,
2016.
2016.
Remember when he won?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We forgot about it.
It wasn't because of silk and diamonds.
Yeah.
You know, I just think if he can win over, it doesn't have to be all black women, but if he can do something to win over black women, it is a wrap. It is done, because then he's completely free. White women can't complain about him. White women can't say he's an asshole, can't say he's a racist, can't say he's hateful. Because black women be like, shut the fuck up, you're all those things. Black women can say to white women, you're all those things, so shut the fuck up. If Trump wins over half of the black female vote, you don't even need all of them. Half. Also, once black women fuck with Trump, every black dude is like, oh, we free to fuck with him?
Yeah.
It's gonna get to the gays. The gays will pick it up.
Oh,
they
Trump
copy
came out to Macho Man. He's gay. He wears makeup, cares about his fucking hair.
Now, Trump don't bash the gays.
Shit. I think that's the group he needs. He needs the black gays.
Whoa.
Because black women follow everything that the black gays do.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the group.
But then how does he's going to lose the evangelical Christians?
Oof.
What if...
But half of them are gay already.
He needs to, but they don't want to come out. They're afraid to come out.
Mark, how do you...
But you vote in private.
Saucy Santana.
But we need it publicly. We need the public admission of support.
Okay, so very silly the way they speak and everything else. Kind of dumb, but it is an interesting thought. If Trump had the support of black women, you know, as an electorate, and then of course they go off into the weeds of like, yeah, well, if he gets black women to support him, then black men will follow suit, because it's almost like black women will permit them to finally believe the way they've originally wanted to believe. That's almost what they're saying there. Hopefully you heard the same thing. It wasn't stated specifically, but yeah. And then they were going on further saying, well, gays are very helpful to Trump too. And then they made a joke about Trump himself being gay because he cares so much about his hair, and then he puts on makeup. Really stupid, but basically that black gays are kind of the thought leaders for black women, and therefore then they have the black straight men as well. I don't know. Like, I see what they're saying a little bit, but also I've heard other things where, like, a lot of black people don't like homosexuality. So I don't know how much I agree with all of that. But I do agree to a certain extent. If you have black women, that can be helpful for you, because, yeah, if then you complain about Trump, then the black women can just go off on you. And usually then people are like, oh, I can't say anything for whatever reason. You know, the way that things are just socially in this country. So I see his points. I really do. I see his points. Obviously, it's not all correct. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Now, this just happened on SNL, their Weekend Update. they have a cast member for SNL. Her name is Molly Kearney. Sorry, they name is Molly Kearney. I don't even know. Non-binary. So explain that one to me. And Molly is wanting to talk about anti-LGBTQ bills and how there needs to be trans rights and blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, this is a weekend update. So it's more like the newsy part of SNL. I'll play a little bit of this. You tell me what you think. I don't find it to be very funny. It's more, I feel like I'm in church listening to a sermon on beliefs and what is right, what is wrong, according to Molly. So, yeah, let's play a little bit.
400 anti... Since the start of this year, over 400 anti-LGBTQ bills have been introduced across the country, many of which directly target trans youth. Here to talk about it is someone with their own introduction.
Introducing SNL's first non-binary cast member. It's Molly Kearney.
Made it. Thank you, Mr. Che.
Molly, what is all this?
Well, as you know, I've been wanting to come to Update and talk about trans people, but I have, for a much longer time than that, wanted to fly down from the ceiling.
And did it live up to your expectations?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, this harness is pretty tight and my groin area is beefed. I've been hung up on my genitals for far too long, and I'm starting to feel like a frickin' Republican lawmaker. Hello!
That's an awesome transition. So, as of this week, there are now over 14 states that have passed bills restricting health care for trans kids.
Listen to that, Michael.
Yeah.
Restricting healthcare for kids. For some reason, there's something about the word trans that makes people forget the word kids. If you don't care about trans kids' lives, it means you don't care about frickin' kids' lives.
Wow, I can tell you're really upset about that.
I am, and also, my legs are going numb and I might pass out.
Oh, Molly, how long were you hanging up there?
Longer than I would have liked. I tried to call down, but no one could hear me. You know, at one point, I heard a crew guy say, "Is she gonna die up there?" And then another guy was like, "You mean, are they going to die up there?" And then they both walked away and didn't help. Which feels a lot like how trans people are being treated right now. But don't worry, we have a code word for emergencies, and it was trans rights. Oh my gosh! Good golly! That was the code for confetti. My bad, bud.
That was so loud.
Well, yeah, people need to wake up. We're making trans kids grow up too fast. We should be keeping them safe, and we need to lift them up. Oh, not me, them. I mean the kids. Che, they got my pronouns right. Let's go.
Okay, so like she literally joked about the pronouns, like, and how stupid it is. She's stuck up there. There's two kind of crew members up there helping her, and then they say, you know, she looks stuck or something. They look stuck. Ha ha ha. Here's the thing. They like to equate that Republicans, if they disagree with something, that they therefore hate. Disagreement and hate. I didn't know that those were the same things. I disagree with people all the time. I didn't realize I hated them. Call me crazy. This wasn't funny. Now I'm getting a little curious. Little baby Sarah is going to look at the comments. Okay, wow. Someone just said that she has hardcore Chris Farley energy. That actually is really true. I didn't think about that. Oh gosh, they are kind of cringy comments. This made me tear up. So many kids need to hear that. Okay, there we go. Someone put, I remember when they told jokes on this show. Yeah, this... Yeah. Yeah, no, actually, I will say there's a lot more supportive comments than I would have hoped for. That's sad. That is so sad. So she's not sure what gender she is. So she's non-binary. And so she wants to be called they, them. Okay. Well, yeah, let's all do that then. Back in the day, there were men and there were women. And that's the way it should be. It's better that way. And it doesn't mean that there are scales of masculinity and femininity. I've seen some guys that are very feminine, and then I've seen some women that are much more masculine, and that's okay. It doesn't mean anything. That we can be different. But in their minds, it's almost like male, female, and then other stuff. So it's like if you were a girl that was playing with toy trucks, well, boom, now you're a boy. If you were a boy that was playing with dolls, boom, now you're a girl. Well, gosh, who's got a narrow mind now? I think it's okay if a boy plays with dolls. Maybe that's showing that they have a fatherly spirit. And guess what? It's okay if a female plays with toy trucks. Maybe she's interested in the automotive, maybe having an automotive career. I don't know. It's okay. Like, why are we so stuck on these things? A tomboy. We always call girls that who are a little bit more masculine or I don't know, or just interested in those kind of things. Why are you putting a boy, the title boy into them? Tomboy. Well, gosh, I wonder why we've had all these issues. We just label these people, and it's not doing anybody any good. But yeah, SNL, are they funny? No. Just thought of it. I was like, wait, yeah, am I going to say yes? And I was like, nah, I'm going to say no. Okay, and then let's see. Speaking of this trans stuff, Dylan Mulvaney. Has anyone heard of Dylan Mulvaney? That is a pretty popular trans person. So a man. I do get the titles mixed up. I'm not going to lie to you. That's why I usually don't even bother. A man who's pretending to be a female, and he's really enjoying it. But then they show videos of this guy. He's more like a Broadway star, very feminine. And he's pretty much always acted this way, but now he just has long hair. He now has deals with Bud Light. He has deals with Nike, putting on bras and things like that. Man, that's Nike. You want to get me to buy some bras from you? Just show me that bra on a guy who doesn't have any breasts at all whatsoever. Sold. No. Yeah, and this is hurting Bud Light, the sponsorship deal that Dylan Mulvaney did with Bud Light. It's not good because they almost forgot who their crowd was. Their crowd is not, who their market is. It's not me. And it's not a lot of people, but let me tell you who it is. We're the masculine types. So once again, you're messing up. You're not doing the right advertising move. I can understand it, with companies and PR. That is actually what I studied in PR. That's what I studied in college. And you got to pick the right person to sponsor your brand and all that. And they've got to kind of fit. And you hope that you can maybe bring some more people to your brand through this person. But at the same time, you can't go too crazy with it. It's got to actually make sense. So, yeah, because, Dylan Mulvaney, who's actually obsessed with Dylan Mulvaney? It's a lot of females, and then it's a lot of the LGBTQ group. They're not big Bud Light people. I don't think that's like their preferred alcoholic brand of choice. So you don't just automatically get whoever likes Dylan Mulvaney to now buy Bud Light. Like, anybody should know this, whether or not they studied PR at college. Like, I just feel like this is common sense. I can understand Bud Light making a mistake in the opposite direction. You'd want to be careful. maybe you get a masculine person, but it's a masculine person that's gotten too much heat in the press, someone that's just like a little bit too much trouble. I can't even think of an example. Just because beer is just so out of the realm of anything I'm interested in. I just don't care at all whatsoever. But yeah, if you got someone that, I don't know, recently had some sex scandals, but they're very masculine, but they might have raped a couple women, you probably don't want to go over to that side, but at least you can understand that mistake because, you have a lot of, tough guys. And so then this is a tough guy, but this is a person that's gotten themselves in trouble. It's just silly. It was a silly mistake. And I hope that more people don't forget this, that I want people to boycott Bud Light. I want people to unfollow Dylan Mulvaney's pages, stop paying attention to Dylan Mulvaney. The only reason that he keeps on doing all this is because of the attention it brings him. It's the only reason. But it is stupid. It is a charade. That is a man pretending to be a woman. And the stupid ads that he does where he's all like, oh man, Bud Light wanted to sponsor me for March Madness. I didn't even know what that was. I thought it was just a crazy month for everybody. And it's just like, okay, I don't care about sports at all. You guys know that, but I know what March Madness is. I'm not that stupid. So it's just like basically he's saying women stupid. And then Andrew Clavin, he brought up a really good point. Well, they call transgenderism like this, they call it woman face, similar to black face. So he was saying it's like the equivalent of a white person, painting themselves black and trying to talk like what we think black people talk like. So like in a very derogatory way and things like that. And that would be so incredibly inappropriate, dressing like what they think a black person dresses like. That's what's happening now with women. All these people doing it, putting on a dress, putting on makeup, talking in a higher pitched tone. And then saying, I'm a woman because I did these things. It's a lot. You got to do a lot more than that to become a woman, You're either born a woman or you're not. You don't get to choose. It ticks me off. But it's okay. I'm not going to get that mad. I can't do anything about it. You know what? I'm not going to drink any more Bud Light. Oh, wait, I never did. Dang it. I tried to do something, okay? I'm going to unlike all of Dylan Mulvaney's posts on Instagram. Oh, wait, I never liked any to begin with. Dang it. So this week, this past week, I went to Texas de Brazil for the first time. I don't know if you guys have heard of Texas de Brazil, but it was interesting. What it is you go to this restaurant. It's pretty pricey, so I only did it because I was celebrating. Otherwise, I would, whatever. I'll keep on talking. The point of the place is that it's all you can eat. They've got a salad bar. They got soup. They have different dishes. And they come around with different types of meat. And supposedly it's all you can eat. So it's very expensive types of meat that you normally don't get. And so the fact that it's all you can eat, it justifies a higher price tag. And yeah, it was interesting going there. It's obvious what they're doing. There's a way they stay in business. They have to remain profitable. So they have different tricks that they do. They tell you all about the salad bar. They make it sound really amazing. They're like, go have all you can eat. We'll wait and you go to the salad bar. So then you go and you pile up a bunch of salad and then you're eating all this salad and then they start bringing the meats. And then whenever they give you the meat, they're cutting it off of this like slab. They give you the tiniest little piece of meat if it's the expensive steaks. So you're like, thank you. And you like put it on your plate and then you eat it in 2 seconds and it's done. If it's sausage or chicken, then you get a bigger piece. They give you a whole sausage link so you can fill up on that. They give you a whole piece of chicken wrapped in bacon so you can fill up on that. But if it's a steak, oh baby, it's going to be a tiny little sliver of that cow. And yeah, so you've filled up on the soup and the salad, and then they have these like these bread rolls filled with cheese, and they're very delicious. So it's really tempting, and you're filling up on that when that's worth like a pennies. Bread, cheese. Oh my gosh, I can get that any second of the day. And then they bring around mashed potatoes, 50 cents for a potato. That costs nothing. And then they fill you up with these plantains. Now I will say those are pretty good. Those are good. Fried bananas, and they coat it in brown sugar. Yeah, that was enjoyable. But I've been raised on that. I really like that kind of stuff. Because, yeah, my mother, part Hispanic, you know. So I kind of knew coming in, I knew about some of these tricks. So with the salad bar, I got little, like just a little this, that. Like I just got things like that I knew I really wouldn't be able to try out in the real world kind of a thing. And so I just had a little taste of all that. Then I feel like I came up with a pretty good idea. Whenever they were bringing around the meat, I basically got a plate of these peppers, and it, you know, has its own like liquid in the peppers, and then garlic with the liquid and all that. And so then I like cut all that up. And so then I had this plate of this like peppers and garlic. And so then whenever they gave me the meat, I would place the meat on that and it would marinate. So therefore then it became more flavorful, because some of the meat was kind of bland. It became more flavorful and spicy, and it was delicious. Now, similar to a lot of times I go too far with the spice. I usually don't, like, it has to be pretty spicy for me to not be able to take it going in. I can usually handle it going in. But man, the next day, it was really painful on the way out. I did not enjoy that in the least. That was not a good time for anybody involved, me included. Yeah, it was really, really painful. But it was frustrating. Okay, so I didn't eat the whole day because I knew I was going to be doing this, and I was looking forward to it. They have these like kind of social cues where they're like, okay, looks like you're done kind of a thing. And you're not. You have this little thing, this little like kind of paper thing that is green on one side, red on the other. So whenever you are green, it means I want meat. Whenever it's red, it means I'm going to stop. I never flipped mine over to red, but they stopped bringing me meat. I guess I could have been like a jerk and be like, excuse me, please. More meat, if you don't mind. I could have done that, but man, it was really frustrating. I wasn't full. I could have had some more food, and I was willing to like be in pain full, because I think it's like $50. Yeah, $50, and then of course they want you to tip. But yeah, I forgot to talk about this. So yeah, of course they want you to have drinks, but I just did water. And then they bring around this tray of desserts, and they're like telling you all about each one, and it's this long rehearsed speech. We started laughing during it because the guy was going on for so long about these desserts. And we were like, no, we'll just keep on with these very sweet, delicious plantains that are included. Thank you very much. We can go get $11 pie elsewhere. Like literally, I think for one slice, it would have been like $11 of like a pie or a cake or whatever. I'm like, that's ridiculous. But yeah, they're trying to get you on that too. There's a certain type of meat that cost extra, but we didn't ask for that. Everywhere, like they know what they're doing. So I am glad I went. I would have always regretted if I had never been in my whole life. I would never want to go again. That's my stance on it, unless it was paid for. If it was free, now we're talking. If I was to go again, I think I would be extra serious and actually do nothing else. I would not touch the bread rolls. I wouldn't, okay, except for the plantains. I wouldn't eat anything but the meat and the plantains. That would be it. And then if they bring around sausage links, I would say no. And if they bring around chicken, I would say no. I would just want the steak. But it's tough because they give you so little and they take forever. That's the other thing too. They make you wait a long time before they bring more meat and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't like to spend a lot of money at restaurants if I can avoid it. Like I never get appetizers. I never get drinks. I always just have water. I don't get desserts. I just get the meal, and I try not to get the most expensive meal. I try to go like mid-range or lower than that, just because it's a waste in my mind. I'd rather spend more on other things. And then also, Maybe spend more on other occasions of being able to eat out, is how I see it. In my opinion, for you meat lovers out there, which I like meat, I think it's a better value to go to something like a Texas Roadhouse. And you can get a big fat steak. You could pay like $30 for it. Heck, pay $40 for it. Who knows? And I think that's a better value because if I had mashed up all the steak they gave me, it was tiny slivers. Versus you get like a 20 ounce or something like that. That's a bunch of meat at Texas Roadhouse. And yet you wouldn't even spend 40. I don't know why I even gave out that number. 30 would be like the most you'd even spend. And they give you 2 large sides and what was I going to say? Oh yeah, and you get to have rolls. But here's the magic of it all. To-go boxes. You get to take home whatever you don't eat. And then you can bring it home and then you can put it back in the oven and then eat it later. So I think it's a much better value to go to Texas Roadhouse. Because even if I ate that much meat, even if I ate 20 ounces of meat, which I know I didn't, it wasn't all steak. A lot of it was sausage links and a lot of it was chicken. So sure, if you push that all together, but how much does chicken cost? How much does sausage links cost? It's not nearly as pricey as meat, as like meat, like steak meat. I shouldn't be upset, but it still was annoying. But I had a good time at the end of the day. It was an experience. I'll just say that. But yeah, just know what you're doing before you go in there. Just know, because they do, because they know. So if they know, I know, you know, we all know. All right. All right. Okay, and then yeah, I'll oh my gosh. I didn't realize. Okay, I'll do it this way. I want to read a Bible verse real quick. Luke 18. So, this verse that I'm reading is in regards to Jesus talking about 2 men that went to the temple to pray. And it was like someone that was a Pharisee that was very just like, oh, Lord, I do this and I do that. I'm blessed. And then a tax collector, which tax collectors in those times were kind of hated. It's like, now we love them, whatever. And and he was just like, God, be merciful. I'm a sinner. You know, very humble. And Jesus is just like, let me tell you who's more justified. It's not the Pharisee. It's the tax collector. And everyone's like, what? What? Like, basically the priest is less justified than, like, the tax collector? The person who, like, steals our money? Okay. But that's how Jesus worked. He doesn't make sense to the ways that we equate things. We think it's our way. It's got to be our way. No, he's like, I'm Jesus. Okay? I'm not. You know what I'm saying. Trust me, I got a long way to go. So the verse that I was going to read is, for those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. And it's so true. It's so true. I see a lot of people in my life, and they come at something with a bit of an arrogance, and I've done it myself many a time. And then they get embarrassed. And the only reason they can even get embarrassed is because they put themselves so high up. Versus the people that, you know, and the Bible has this kind of a situation where they talk about, don't sit at the best place. If you're sitting with a group of people and you're about to have dinner, don't sit at the best place, sit at the worst place. Because then if no one says anything, then cool, you're fine. But if you sat at the best place and then you weren't supposed to sit there, then you're going to be embarrassed whenever they tell you, no, move. What are you doing, dummy? Don't put yourself in a high place. Don't lie about yourself. Don't treat yourself like absolute garbage, but just don't make it all about yourself. There's been people in my life where they've been like, oh yeah, I'm really good at this. Oh yeah, I'm like the best at this. And then they don't do that good because they were bragging about it. Yeah, there's one friend I had. She was like, I'm a really good runner. I've been running like blah, blah, blah. And like I got national, state, whatever, champion, district, national. Yeah. And I got like 3rd place in that. And I had like this time and all that. And then she like was insistent on the fact that we needed to run together. And, I like to run. But I'm not like that. I was never like that. I remember I ran one cross country race and it was long distance. And I got like, what was it? I got 27th place. I was walking during some of the race because it was so difficult. I hated it. But now I like to run, but only on a treadmill is really my preferred method. And I feel like I've gotten decent. I've gotten okay. But here's what I know about myself. I look silly when I run. And it's just the truth. And I've always known that. Whenever I played soccer, they would show tapes. And we'd have to kind of watch the plays. And then the coach would critique and say, well, look at this. You shouldn't have done this, blah, blah, blah. And the second I would come on the video, everybody would bust out laughing because of how silly I looked when I ran. So I just always said, oh, I don't want to run with you. I said that to this friend. And then she was like, no, let's run together. Let's run together. And then finally I was just like, whatever, let's run together. And in my mind, I was like, she's going to be way better than me, blah, blah, blah. But let's just go ahead and do this. I'll just suffer. And it was like 100-degree weather. I don't know why we did this. And then we're running. Like, I'm running like an average pace. After like 2 minutes, she's like, okay, stop. Okay, let's stop. I just want to stop. And I was just like, what? You've been wanting to do this. I was thinking like we could run for like 10 minutes. Like I wasn't going to go like that far with this. She's like, I'm just so tired. I'm so tired. And in my mind, I was just like, yeah, this verse certainly comes into play. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Because in my mind, it's like she wanted to run so I could look stupid and she could make fun of me. And I was just running out of obligation. So yeah, long story to make a point, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah. But the Bible is good. All the time and all the time, the Bible is good. Last thing I wanted to talk about, I'm still having an internal debate, and I've discussed this with some people in my life. To sleep with a pillow or to sleep without a pillow. If you think about it, naturally, is that good for us? Like, think about it. Why? Why do we need something to like push our head forward on the bed? Why do we need that? But pillows were made for a reason, but is it like one of those things where it's like it was made so that then they can make more money? Because the pillow industry is huge. Have you heard of My Pillow? People make bank off of selling pillows, but is it necessary? And so, but obviously I've been doing it for such a long time. I've been sleeping with pillows forever because I've been just made to do that. And so in my mind, I'm coming closer to the conclusion that I don't think it's a good thing. But I was trying to sleep last night without a pillow. It was not fun. It was like really hard. And then part of me is thinking, okay, but is this a good thing that I'm doing this? Or is it bad that I'm doing this? Could my body get used to it if I did it for like 2 weeks or something? But then could I lose a lot of sleep and then be sleep deprived and then get sick and, my immune system is shot and everything else? I don't know. I don't know what to think. But it's kind of scary. But at the same time, I'm like, if it's not good, because I'm like, does this affect posture? I don't have the best posture as it is. Does it affect posture that I have a pillow and that I'm being artificially forced to curve my shoulders and everything else? I don't know. So yeah, drop in the comments what you think, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And I've seen experts say both things. I've seen experts say, well, you got to wean yourself off a pillow. So you got to do like a thinner pillow, to start, then like towels, and then nothing. And then I've seen other people say, no, you just got to get this type of a pillow. I don't know what to believe. I've been lied to so many times, and I just can't tell who's trying to get my money or who's actually trying to help me. Everybody just wants money. And I think money is good, but at the same time, I think it becomes a bit obsessive. People go too far with it. And so then they're just lying to your face for the sake of a couple dollars. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right. And you know who you are. You know. And I'm watching you. And God's watching you. And we're not happy with you. But we'll forgive you. We won't forget, but we'll forgive. Forgive and forget. It's so funny how people say that. Forgive and forget and all that. It's like, well, your memory is just like, it's still going to be there. In my mind, it was always like forgive and forget was like you forgive and then you don't mention it again. That's what I always took forgive and forget as. Not like actually forgetting. Like, I didn't remember that you beat me up to a pulp. I totally forgot. Wow. You did that, didn't you? I forgot about that. I don't know. All right. This has been a fun episode, hasn't it? Just say yes, please. Please, for me. You know I care about you guys. I think you're the best. You're interesting. You're smart. You're fit. You're attractive. Enjoy yourself. Walk outside if you can. If it's sunny and beautiful or if it's not, it's good to breathe the fresh air, I think. So, and get some good sleep with or without a pillow. Let me know what you do because I'm trying to learn here. All right. Goodbye. Thank you guys so much.